2008's Saints Row 2 is the perfect sequel. It takes everything great about the original and improves upon it while adding new, innovative features along the way. One thing I forgot to mention in my first review is we're going to be getting into spoilers. The reason I forgot the first time is because the ending of Saints Row 1 is such common knowledge to anyone with any kind of interest in Saints Row that I figured everybody who would watch this video would already know the ending. So if I spoiled it for you, I'm sorry, and just know that I'm going to be spoiling every Saints Row game that I review. So just like the first game, you're started off in a character creator, and this time around, it's much more enhanced. You can now be a female, you have 6 voices to choose from. By the way, you speak much more in this game. You have emotes that you can activate with the D-pad, you can change the way you walk, you can change your combat style, you can change your facial expression. It's super in-depth. The plot starts off by revealing that your character isn't dead. They're being held in intensive care in a high-security penitentiary. This is where you meet Carlos, a young inmate willing to help you break out of jail. After a successful attempt, you're shown what Stillwater has become since you last left it.
Jesus, when did this happen?
When Ulter got involved.
The clothing company.
After Hughes was killed in that bombing of yours, Ulter picked up the pieces. Now they're everywhere. On TV, on billboards, in stores. Hell, if you ever forget who Ulter is, just look towards Saints Row and you'll see that fucking eyesore.
Where can I find the other Saints?
What other Saints?
What you talking about?
Without anyone to lead them, the Saints fell apart. Once the Brotherhood, Ronin, and Samdi showed up, the few that were left dropped their flags before they got killed.
Well, that's fucking great.
So with the original Saints nowhere to be found and you at rock bottom, you decide to build from the ground up. This operation starts by getting your murder-loving pal, Johnny Gat, out of his inevitable trip to the electric chair.
Shit. About time your burnt ass woke up.
You okay, Johnny?
Yeah, aside from almost getting sent to the chair, I'm fucking great. Hey, you look different. You do something with your hair?
Together, you and Gat create an even bigger gang than before, but this time, you're in the driver's seat. From now on, I'll be referring to your character as the Boss. This is the closest to a name that your character is given throughout the whole series. This time around, the story replaces some of the gangster elements with more of an action movie plot. We're going from Hughes Brothers to Tarantino. Replacing the original 3, there's 3 new gangs, the Sons of Samdi, the Brotherhood, and the Ronin. All with their own string of missions that you can play in any order you please, just like the original. New Saints means new characters. Shondi and Pierce are introduced in Saints Row 2, becoming supporting characters for the rest of the series.
Hey, what about their
What about their tattoo artist?
Good idea.
What just happened?
Shondi had a good idea.
Once again, the campaign fluctuates between serious and silly, although the ratio between the two is still at that perfect sweet spot. I have to mention the death of Carlos. This is one of the most chilling and disturbing moments in video game history. After being tied and dragged by a truck to near death by the leader of the Brotherhood, Mero, the Boss finds Carlos clinging to the sliver of life he still has. Without speaking, he pulls out a pistol and puts Carlos out of his misery. After almost a decade, this moment still gives me chills. Don't fret, the Boss gets his revenge by tricking Mero into killing his girlfriend with a monster truck. The Boss does not play around. If you mess with him, it is your ass. He is an unforgiving psychopath throughout the whole story of the game, and you better not forget that.
I'm gonna kill you right here, right now.
No, you're not.
What's this?
Do me a favor. When you check the trunk, just remember you should have offered me something better than 20%.
The gameplay isn't much different from the first, although there are some new additions. You can finally aim down sights, something that was surprisingly absent from the original. There's now planes, which is fun. There's new side activities, a fully redesigned map. I mean, this map is completely different from the original, despite technically being the same. New weapons, new vehicles, there's too many to list them all. Unfortunately, you still have to fill up your respect bar every time you want to play a story mission, although this time I took my own advice and I did every side activity in the game after playing just a couple story missions. The primitive driving controls are still here, but I'm used to them by now. The ending is pretty simple. After taking down all the gangs, you take down Ultor and the city is all yours. What I consider to be the real ending, however, is the secret mission where you finally get your revenge on Julius.
You owe me, player.
If it wasn't for me, you would have died on that street corner.
If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been in a goddamn coma.
But I guess that makes us even.
Not really.
Overall, Saints Row 2, in my opinion, is the quintessential open-world crime game. It was my first Saints Row game, and back in 2009 when I first played it, it blew me away. 10 years later, it still holds up. Easily 9.5 out of 10. It's damn near perfect.